Hello, welcome back. I'm in my office. I thought I'd do a slightly different video today. I'm going to talk about some of the sales that we've had on eBay. If you've not been here before, my name's Kirsten. I buy and sell vintage, antiques, collectibles, secondhand, anything that I think I can sell for a profit on eBay, on my website and in antique centres. And I thought today I would show you some of the sales that we've had on eBay over the last couple of months. I'm not going into every sale because that would be way too tedious for you and for me. But yeah, I'm going to just highlight some of the sales that we've had. If you're a reseller, you might be interested in looking out for these items yourself, or you just might be nosy. You might just be nosy, and that's fair enough. So I've just picked out, I don't know, 20, 30 sales, and I'll go through them. We sell a hell of a lot of other stuff as well, but this is just a few to give you an idea. First on my list is a vintage county cricket mug. I've got my notes down here, so I have to keep looking down, otherwise I will forget. Nottinghamshire County Cricket Club from the 90s. This is one of Darren's pickups. He picked up a box full of cricket mugs. I don't know how many was in there, maybe 15 mugs, and I think he paid £7. And on average, they've gone for 15, some went for 20, some have gone for 10. So it was a really good pickup. So really pleased with that. I think possibly that was the last one, but I'm not 100% sure. Let's see, what have I got next on the list? As I say, I'm not picking out every single thing. And some of the things I'll have shown you when I've been doing my vlogs. I've said, look, I'm sending this out, sending that. So I'm trying to avoid those items so I'm not too repetitive. So I'm heading back a little bit. Here we go. It's got to be here somewhere. Right. WH Grindley Blue Transferware Ironstone Oval Plates. They weren't very big. They were about this big, 2 of them. I think I paid £1 for the 2 or £2 maximum. And they sold for £15.50. And all our sales have postage on top. We don't offer free postage. So the postage is covered outside of the price that we're getting. So I was really pleased with that. So plates and stuff isn't something that I particularly look for, although I seem to. When I look at my sales, I think, oh yeah, we do sell quite a lot of plates and things. But yeah, pleased with that sale. Our average sales really vary. We have very small, orders up to quite big orders. We don't have a price point that we aim for. We just try and turn things over and make some money. I sold this cute little bird, little kiwi bird. It had like real fur on it. It was about this big. I paid £2 for it and it sold for £18.99, which is a decent turnaround. Yeah, just on an unusual thing. I'm always looking for the unusual when I'm at the car boots, and it just caught my eye, and so I was definitely picking that up. This was something that I wouldn't normally look at, but it was from one of our favourite sellers, and I was putting lots of other stuff together, and I just thought, you know what, I'm going to give this a go. It was some solid brass, like wall fittings, some wall sconces. They would need rewiring and everything. I paid, I seem to remember it was £3 or £3.50, and they sold for 25 quid, and almost instantly within a day or so of listing. So definitely pleased with that pickup. So those of you who've been here a while will know that I used to have a shop down in Devon, and I got to know somebody who was retiring, and they had a gift shop, a very sort of high-end gift shop, and he had a lot of stock left over, and I bought quite a good decent amount from him. A lot of it was Royal Copenhagen Christmas stock, so I had the plates that they do, the bells, I had Father Christmases and Christmas trees and all sorts of things. I'm on to my last few bits of those, and I sold a Royal Copenhagen Christmas plate from 2017. It's still boxed with its certificate and everything, in really good condition. I had it up for, I want to say £39.99, but it might have been £49.99. Let me look, because I sold more than one. No, haven't got it written down. Anyway, we took an offer and it sold for £35. I did pay approximately £5 for it at the time. So I think it's still a good return. It's more in interest than you would earn in the bank. So since moving up to Lincolnshire and starting this working from home, my husband Darren is getting more and more involved in the buying and selling of secondhand stuff. He was always involved to some degree, but now we sort of do it together. And he's got his areas that he concentrates on, and I've got my areas that I concentrate on. And one of his favourite things to pick up is pictures and prints. If you'll have seen one of his latest vlogs, we took on a new space in the antique centre and he's made a whole wall of pictures and prints. But he also sells quite a lot on eBay. And this one was an original watercolour by Veronica Pike and it sold for £65. Now, I can't remember how much he paid for it, but it won't have been more than £5. Because he's bought a few from auctions and quite a few from car boots as well, so I can't say exactly where he got it. These bowls were made for Debenhams by Noritake. The pattern is Blue Virginia. We picked these up on a particularly quiet car boot day. There wasn't a lot to get. We weren't finding things, and one of the house clearance guys that we're friends with, we thought, oh, we'll have a proper look through his store, and I picked this set of bowls up for £1. And they sold for $16.99, and actually quite quickly. Things like that you kind of expect to be hanging on to them for quite a while. You know, that somebody's looking for that specific pattern of tableware. But no, I think they sold within 2 weeks, definitely, for $16.99. So very pleased with that. This style of pottery is one of my absolute favourites. I love Portuguese pottery, and I love this sort of pattern with the birds and the deer and the colourful on the white background, all of that. But I don't tend to pick it up, and the reason I don't tend to pick it up is because it doesn't really sell all that well. I've had it in the past and it's just sat around for a long time. This one was a bit different because it was quite a big plate. It had a sort of, was it hexagonal or octagonal, I'm not sure which, shape to it. It was just really stood out as something a little bit special, and that sold for £19.99. I can't remember what I paid for it, but it certainly wasn't more than £3. It was £2 or £3, that kind of price point. This was one of those things that Darren sort of pushed me into buying. I am extremely tight when it comes to buying things at the car boot, so I don't want to pay more than £2 or £3 for things. But these were really nice wall sconces, like candle wall sconces, brass ones, and we got them for £8 for the pair, and they sold for 45s, and they sold again pretty quickly. I would say within 2 weeks again. I really liked them and I wanted to buy them, but when he said, I think he said 10 and we got him down, but I was like, oh, couldn't possibly, but Darren's like, just get them. Sometimes I need that little push. Now, if you know me, you know I love a little bit of kitsch, and there's nothing more kitsch than one of those little musical jewellery boxes with the little turning ballerina, and this is exactly what it is. It wasn't in the greatest condition. The box was faded and marked, but I still got 15 quid for it. I think I paid 3, to be fair, just because I wanted it. But it was cute and it was kitsch, and it sold, so I can't complain. It seems like the last month has been all about wall sconces, because here's another wall sconce for a candle. Not that old, not my cup of tea, but again, it was one of those, I'm just going to give it a go. I think it was £2 or £3 that I paid for it. It sold for £19.99. It sold pretty quick again. So yeah, I'll definitely be picking up more and more wall sconces whenever I see them. The next sale was a vintage butter dish. Just a plastic butter dish, but very vintage, very of its time. Beautiful sort of buttercup yellow colour. And that sold for £14.99. Now, I paid £5 for that butter dish, another butter dish, and 2 little toast racks, all in the same kind of early plastics in the pastel colours. So still waiting for the others to sell. Fingers crossed. I've got quite a collection of tins. There's quite a lot on my website, and then there's a lot on eBay as well. And I do sell them gradually, but I like to have them and look at them and stuff, so I don't mind if they hang around for a little while. But this one actually sold fairly quickly. It's like a Spanish biscuit tin. It's not that old. I think the colours are what drew me to it. It's a fairly biggish tin, and I paid 33 pence. It was on a tarp, 3 things for £1, and it sold for 19.99. So that's not a bad return. If every sale could give me a return like that, I wouldn't be complaining. Yeah, I love tins. What can I say? And then the next sale. This was one of those things that we started going to auctions, and Darren was saying, I'm bidding on this, I want to go for this. It was a job lot of Beanos, and they were quite old ones from, I think, the 70s and the 90s and stuff. Anyway, a huge job lot of Beanos. I didn't think that it was worth bidding on, but he got them. He listed them in smaller job lots, and the first sale he got was for £50. Which was a very good return. Really, really pleased with that. And then literally a few days later, he got another sale for £40 for another job lot. So can't really complain at that either. He's also had more sales than that since then. So yeah, I was wrong and he was right. Last year, I picked up quite a lot of placemats, and I would list them regularly as I got them on. And they just didn't sell, which I thought was surprising, because I thought placemats would be one of those things that sold. And then suddenly in January, all my placemats sold. So this year I've been picking them up again and listing them again. We'll see. Will all my placemats go in January again? I don't know. But these Pimpernel large placemats, mice and fruit and flowers, sold for £17.50. They went GSP, but then there was an issue, and we were informed that due to customs, they'd been refused entry, and that we got refunded, and so did the customer. So we didn't lose out on the sale, but I think it's because of the cork backing. It's the only thing I can think of. But what a shame. I hope they don't get destroyed, because that feels like such a waste. Here we go, it's another tin. This one is a PG Tips tin. I had seen at the car boot last year, a guy had a lot of them and was selling them off for 50p. So I just bought one because I thought I don't need a lot of the same one. And it sold really quickly and for £15, and I thought, oh, if only I'd picked up more. This year at the car boot, must have been the same guy, although I can't remember his face, had lots of them, so I bought quite a few, and again sold for £15. I've been putting them up one at a time, so I still have more, and if you want a bargain, they're on my website for considerably less. So that's that one. And then, as I showed you before, the Royal Langnickel, no, that's a maker of art materials. Royal Copenhagen Christmas plate. I'd sold one for £39.99, which was the original price. So happy with that. Next sale that I'm showing you is a brass jardiniere. So just a little plant pot. Brass, not that big, literally that sort of size. I always pick them up when I can. Usually I pay £2 or £3 for them, and they go for around the £20 mark, depending on how intricate they are and what condition they're in and that kind of thing. But yeah, definitely something I pick up, and they sell regularly. Just tick along. Something that I'm not showing you a lot of is we sell a lot of ex-army stuff. So trainers, boots, jackets, gaiters, gloves, all of that thing, and also the glamorous long johns. So this was a pack of 6 that went for £30. A lot of the sales of the army stuff are a lot less. So for instance, like these trainers that we get, we sell those for about between £8 and £10. And they're not the most interesting, but it's good to have sales that just tick along. And it also means that we can supply the family with boots, trainers. I mean, I've got an army vest on now. It's like a thermal top. We've all had things from the ex-army stuff. It's great. It's good quality, and it's not too expensive. Do you remember these? These are those vintage foil prints, Jean and Ron Henry, sort of fairies, fairy wedding and that kind of thing. Now, again, we picked these up at the car boot. They were very big and vintage, and you know when the glass is really heavy because it's so thick, that's what these two were. And I was kind of like a bit apprehensive about sending them in the post, but didn't think they would sell in my antique booth that as well. So Darren listed them for £65 and they sold, and they cost us £3. I know, £3 for the pair, and they sold for 65. Now, if you watched one of my recent videos, you'll have seen that in a haul that we got recently, I actually got 2 more. They're the same size, I think, almost, but in different frames. But we actually got 3. There was a third one. So let's hope that we can sell them for a similar kind of money. Another thing that we sell quite a lot of that's not all that glamorous is books. And they are very low value, but again, it's something that ticks along. So this one, United Kingdom and Nuclear Deterrence, very interesting subject matter, sold for £2.50. Yeah, we bought a huge lot of books for not a lot of money, so it's kind of a case of ticking along. And one of the things that one of the things that Darren's been doing is going through books that aren't worth listing them and selling them as display lots. So this sale was for 2 lots of display packages at £15 each. So if you can't sell them individually, then it's still worth looking to see if you can sell them as a job lot. Obviously, that's only really for hardbacks with sort of coloured underneath the outer sleeve. Doesn't really work on the paperbacks, but what we do with the smaller paperback ones is I use them as void fill for my packaging, so everything gets recycled. Most of the time I leave pictures and prints for Darren to pick up because he's very particular about what he likes to sell and what he doesn't want to sell. But he'd wandered off at the car boot. I tried shouting him, but he didn't hear me, so I just took a punt and I bought 2 of these Swiss pictures by a particular artist, Susanna Carratti, which doesn't sound Swiss at all, does she? This one, long and thin. The other one was a round picture in a square frame. But this long, thin one sold really quickly. So I was very pleased with myself because I got £30 for it and I only paid 50p. So we've still got another one to sell, the square one. But at least I redeemed myself. Apologies if Benji's barking in the background. Right, here we go. Another picture that I had to pack. I'm always cursing Darren when I have to pack prints because it's so hard work, but it's worth it. And this one was a coastal scene from Filey in Yorkshire by K.W. Burton, and it sold for £100. I think he got this one at the auction, but again, he probably wouldn't have paid more than £5 for it. So a very good return. And then finally was this job lot of pin badges, vintage pin badges. There's some Care Bear ones in there, and then some, advertising ones, all sorts of things. Typhoo. There was a nice British Airways one that drew my attention. I picked up at the car boot. I think I paid £1 for the bag of them. I actually offered them on my website for quite a few weeks for £6 and nobody bought them. I put them on eBay for £19.99 and they sold like that. So if you want a bargain, head over to my website. That's a shameless plug, isn't it? Anyway, that's that. Right, I'm going to round it up. I hope you've enjoyed that as a different kind of video. I'm always kind of like trying to think of different ways of doing it. And I don't really do a lot of, I buy it for this and I sell it for that, because it's just not my style. But I thought for a change, we'll try it out. I hope you enjoyed it. If you could leave me a comment, a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed and you like a gentle kind of vlog, then please think about doing it. It doesn't cost you anything. And if you want to see more of the barking dogs and see what Darren gets up to in the garden, then if you could subscribe to Darren and Gardening with Dogs, that would be great too. Anyway, take care, stay safe, and I will see you soon.